We are back here for game number 2 at Dooley Health and Care Field between the Judson Eagles and your St. Francis Saints. Game 1 went to the Saints. That was a pitcher's duel, to say the least. It was a 2-0 Saints victory. 2 runs on 4 hits, 1 error for St. Francis. No runs on just 1 hit for Judson. Matthew Johnston, the hard luck loser for Judson, went the distance, gave up 2 runs and 4 hits, walked 3, struck out 3, dropped to 1-3, and the winning pitcher in that game making his best start of the year was Sam Pileggi. 5 2/3 innings of shutout baseball, gave up just 1 hit, walked 3 batters, all of them in that 6th inning as he was starting to tire. Struck out 5, picking up his first win of the season, and John McGuire came in, pitched the last inning and a third, picking up his 2nd save of the season. St. Francis scored runs in the 5th and the 6th. A 2-out single by Hector Carrillo in the 5th drove home pinch runner Max Montgomery, and then in the 6th inning, a single by Jake Merida with the bases loaded would knock home Gia Pappas and give St. Francis their 2 runs, and they improve to 11-23 on the season, 6-7 in the conference. A win today makes them 500 in the CCAC. And on the mound here for St. Francis in Game 2 will be Jacob Jerka. We'll take a look at Jacob, and then we'll look at the starting lineup here in Game number 2 for Judson. First pitch at 3:16, 63 degrees, and a beautiful sunny day. That off of Jerka's glove, he is able to recover and throw out the leadoff hitter, Benjamin Nelson, for the first out here in the first inning. And this is how the lineup will look for the Judson Eagles here in Game 2. Benjamin Nelson leads off, plays left field. Giovanni Davila moves from 3rd over to 2nd here for Game number 2. He'll bat 2nd. Timothy Ellinger bats 3rd, plays 1st. Jordan Babcock in the cleanup spot, playing right field. First pitch swinging by Davila is fouled. Adam Zaratsky, who had the only hits of the game for Judson, he was 2 for 3, will bat 5th and play left field. Alex Spang is the DH here in Game number 2. He was behind the plate in Game 1, batting 6th. Diego Munoz is your starting catcher today, batting 7th. Alec McLennan, will bat 8th and play shortstop. Christopher Marlin bats 9th and plays 3rd against Jacob Jerka. Pitch hit in the air, out to right field. Back on it goes Pappas. Gio looks up, and Davila takes the 1-0 pitch over the right field fence for his 2nd home run of the season, and Judson jumps on the board here in the first inning. It is 1-0 Eagles. Couldn't get any offense going in Game 1, and the wind not blowing nearly as much here for the start of Game 2. And we saw in Game 1 a ball hit out to that spot in right field, but the wind knocked it down. This time, Davila takes Jerk over the right center field fence, and it gives the Eagles an early 1-0 lead. Jacob making his 12th appearance of the season, his 4th start, as Ellinger first pitch swinging over to the left side. In on it comes the left fielder, Jake Vera. Puts it away for the 2nd out of the inning. And I'll get to Jacob's numbers here eventually. 12th appearance for Jacob, making his 4th start of the year. He's 1-1 with an ERA of just over 10. The freshman, 6'1", 205-pound righty out of New Lenox, has pitched 24 innings on the year. He's allowed 40 hits in those 24 innings, walked 13, struck out 17. Opponents are hitting .364 against Jerka. They're 1 for 3 so far today with a home run. 1-0 Judson here, top of the first inning. Jordan Babcock steps in. The cleanup hitter was 0 for 3 in Game 1. First 2 pitches a bit upstairs. Pitch is in there for a strike. Three and one now, the count on Babcock. Top of the first, 2 outs. Giovanni Davila, the solo home run to right. 3-1. Line Line drive, back up the middle, base hit for Babcock. Two outs, runner at first, and Adam Zaratsky stepping in. Zaratsky had the only 2 hits of the game for Judson in game 1. He was 2 for 3 with a stolen base. So last time out for Jacob was back on the 2nd against Roosevelt. Gave up 3 hits, or gave up 3 runs and 4 hits in 3 innings there. His pitch better as of late. He struggled in February and March down in Florida. But his last 3 appearances, on the 23rd against North Park was 2 innings of scoreless ball. 327 against Calumet of Indiana, 4 innings. Give up 9 hits, but only 2 runs in those 4 innings, and then the 3 innings of 3-run ball last time out against Roosevelt. So that's 5 runs in his last 9 innings of work. Popped up on the infield, calling for it is Carrillo. He makes the catch. That retires the side. Judson picks up a run here in the top of the 1st inning. Eagles 1, St. Francis coming up. First hacks for St. Francis today against the sophomore right-handed pitcher, 5'11", 190 pounds, out of Lee's Summit, Missouri, a suburb of Kansas City. Taylor Abercrombie takes the mound for Judson here in game number 2. Taylor 1-2 on the season. This is his 11th appearance of the year, a 6th start, 1-2 with an ERA just north of 7. First pitch swinging by the leadoff hitter, Hector Carrillo, fouled off. 38 hits in 30 innings for the righty. He has walked 20, struck out 15, and he's hit 11 batters in 30 innings. So we saw a lot of that in game 1. 3 hit-by pitches for St. Francis that they were able to turn into a run in that 6th inning. So we'll see if they can take advantage here, as Abercrombie has allowed 38 hits, 20 walks, and 11 hit batsmen. That is, quick math, 59 base runners in 30 innings of work. Fly ball to deep center field, and Zaratsky makes the over-the-shoulder catch. Looked like he had a little bit of problem with that with the sun right off the bat, but quick math tells you that that is 69 base runners. I did the math wrong. That tells you how quick it was. 69 base runners in 30 innings against Taylor Abercrombie so far this season. And this is the lineup he'll face in game 2 of this doubleheader. Hector Carrillo, as you saw, batting leadoff, playing third base. Alex Martinez now at the dish at shortstop, will bat second, takes the breaking pitch upstairs. Batting third will be the second baseman, John McGuire. Eric Maffey gets the start in game 2 here at designated hitter. Luke Ketchum bats fifth, plays center. Nate Meliska will bat sixth and play first base. Dan Gusel will do the catching. Batting seventh, Gio Pappas out in right field hits eighth, and Jake Vera slides into the number 9 spot and plays left field here against Taylor Abercrombie. The 1-1 pitch to Martinez is downstairs for a ball. Alex didn't play in game 1, hitting .226 on the season. Has 1 home run, 10 knocked in. Hit in the air to right. Babcock, a couple steps in, a couple steps to his left. Squeezes it 2 fly ball outs here in the first. John McGuire now. John 0 for 2 in the field in game 1, but pitched an inning and 2/3 to pick up the save. He gave up a hit, struck out a batter, picked up his second save of the season for Sam Pileggi, who was dominant in 5 2/3 in game 1. First pitch to John is over for a strike. Sam, 5 2/3 innings of 1 hit, scoreless baseball in the first game of this doubleheader. It was a 2-1 St. Francis win. That ball grounded down the left field line. That'll be extra bases for John McGuire. He takes the turn at second, will hold up there, and he has a 2-out double. A lot of two-out runners in scoring position for St. Francis here through the first game and an inning. For John, that's double number 6 on the season. They had runners in scoring position with 2 outs in the first inning, the third inning, the 5th inning, and the 6th inning, and they were finally able to break through in the 5th and the 6th. Eric Maffey steps in. Eric didn't play in game 1, but he's had a really, really nice season here for St. Francis. .339 on the season, a team-high 9 home runs, 31 runs knocked in, leads the team in almost every offensive category. See if he can pick up McGuire at second with 2 outs. Fouled off. Second on the team in hitting to Luke Ketchum. Leads the team in runs, leads the team in hits and doubles and triples and home runs and RBIs. Slugging percentage, walks, on-base percentage. Second on the team in stolen bases. He does a little bit, or he does a lot of everything for this St. Francis ball club. Hitting the air out to deep left field. Back on it goes Nelson. He looks up. There's home run number 10 of the year for Eric Maffey. And the Saints jump on top 2-1. Eric sat out game 1. Didn't miss here in his first at bat at game 2. A line drive home run to left. And the Saints are up 2-1. Luke Ketchum now. Luke's hit by the pitch. So I said in the pregame, 11 hit batters by Abercrombie here in 30 innings. That's number 12. Nate Meliska now steps in. Pitch in the dirt to Nate downstairs for a ball. Nate was 0 for 2 with a walk in game 1. Luke Ketchum over at first base. He's 6 for 7 in stolen bases on the season. We'll see if he takes off here. Try to get into scoring position with 2 outs. Meliska base it to right. Nate grounds it into the hole. Ketchum will stop at second, and St. Francis, the offense, coming to life here in the first inning. That's 4 straight batters to reach here against Abercrombie after a couple of flyouts. Dan Gusel will step in now. Dan didn't play in game 1. 263 on the season, 10 for 38 on the year with a home run. Runner at second is Ketchum. He was hit by a pitch. Nate Meliska just grounded a single to right. Gusel looking to pick up Ketchum. St. Francis with a 2-1 lead here, bottom of the first. Pitch away. If Gusel reaches, Gio Pappas gets a chance to hit. Already more offense here in this game this afternoon than we saw in game 1. The 1-0 to Gusol. Popped up to center. Zaratsky comes in and hold his arms out to his side like he couldn't see it for a minute, but he was able to make the catch and retire the side. St. Francis picks up a couple on the 2-run bomb by Eric Maffey. We go to the second with the Saints up 2-1. Top of the second here at Dooley Health and Care Field. Saints with a 2-1 lead, courtesy of an Eric Maffey home run. Judson picked up a run in their half of the first inning, courtesy of a Giovanni Davila solo blast. It's 2-1 here in the second. Alex Spang, the designated hitter here for game number 2. He was behind the plate for game 1. He was 0 for 3. Pitch catches the edge by Jerka. 1-1. St. Francis 6-7 now in the CCAC, looking to even that conference record, while Judson dropped to 4-10 with that game 1 loss. 3-0. Line drive almost took the head of Jerka off, but bounced right to McGuire, who makes the throw over to first. So leadoff man out here in the second. Same as in the first, as Benjamin Nelson grounded out to the pitcher. We'll see if Jerka can work out of this second inning without giving up a run. He'll face the catcher now, Diego Munoz. Munoz, a $1.92 on the year, 5 for 26 on the season with a couple of runs knocked in. 0-1 the count now on Munoz. So the defense for St. Francis here in game 2 on the infield, third to first. I'll give you right after that line out to the third baseman, and that's a great place to start on when you're going third to first. Hector Carrillo at third, Alex Martinez at short, John McGuire at second, Nate Maliska down at first. In the outfield, left to right, same outfield as in game 1. Jake Vera in left, Luke Ketchum in center, Gio Pappas in right, behind the dish, Dan Gusol here in game 2. It was Jake Merida in game 1. And he had a really nice game out of the number 9 spot. Jake Merida reached base 3 times. Was hit by a pitch in the third. He drew a walk in the 5th that led to the first run of the game, and then drove in the insurance run with an infield single in the 6th. He gets to watch and enjoy game 2 as Alec McLennan takes the 1-0 pitch over for a strike. 1-1. McLennan 0 for 1 with a walk in game 1. He's Judson's leading hitter. He came in batting .306 today. Pitch upstairs. Still just a gorgeous day here in Joliet. 63 degrees at first pitch. The 2-1. Upstairs, 3-1. Most of the lower seats that are still in the sunlight. Sun here sets behind the third baseline, so the seats down the right field line are all still in the sun. 3-1 pitch popped straight back. Gusol is there, makes the catch, and that retires the side in order. So a nice bounce back inning for Jacob Jerka there in the second as he sets down Judson. 1-2-3. We go to the bottom of the second. Saints lead 2-1. Gio Pappas, Jake Vera, Hector Carrillo set to bat here in the second inning. Hope you're having a fantastic Saturday on this Easter weekend. My name is Aaron Schellen, and I'm very happy to be bringing you this St. Francis doubleheader today against the Judson Eagles. It was a 2-1 St. Francis, or 2-0 St. Francis win in Game 1. It's a 2-1 St. Francis lead here in the bottom of the second, and Gio Pappas leading off, and Gio with a line drive to right field that gets down for a base hit. So two hard hit balls the last two times Gio Pappas has been up. He smoked a double to left in Game 1.
Left fielder, number 26, Jake Vera.
Jake Vera will bat now for St. Francis with Pappas at first. Jake was 0 for 2 in Game 1. He batted second. Throw over to first. Gio back in safely. Out in left field, Jake. His customary position. Squares to bunt, pulls it back. 1-0 on Vera. 2 runs on 5 hits already here for St. Francis. 1 run on 2 hits for Judson. Nobody out in the second. Gio Pappas at first. Gio now 2 for 4 in the doubleheader. 1-0 to Vera. Jake foul tips it into the mitt of Diego Munoz. 1-1. Jake squares to bunt, drops it down. Abercrombie has it, throws it into second. And coming across the bag is Davila to step on the bag and retire Pappas on the 1-4. Fielder's choice. Vera moves down to first base here in the bottom of the second inning. 1 away, and Hector Carrillo will step in with Vera at first now. Jake is a threat to run. He leads the team in stolen bases on the season. Picked up his 9th stolen base in Game 1 in 10 attempts. First pitch to Hector is a ball. 1-0. Abercrombie looks over at Jake at first base. Comes home with it. Vera fakes as if he's going down to second. Pitch is fouled straight back by Carrillo. Hector was 1 for 2 in Game 1. Drove in the first run of the game on a 2-out RBI single to center. A solid base hit. It was not only the first run of the game for St. Francis, but it was their first hit of the game as well in the 5th inning. He also drew a walk. Smoked down the right field line. Foul. Hector a little bit behind that one, but solid contact. Alex Martinez in the on-deck circle. And if anybody reaches, John McGuire. The 1-2 now on Carrillo. There goes Vera. Pitches upstairs, and the pitch took the catcher, Diego Munoz, behind the batter, Hector Carrillo, and that Munoz had no chance at all as Jake Vera picks up his 10th stolen base of the season, moves into scoring position, and a 2-2 count on Carrillo now. Hector digging in right on that back edge of that right-handed batter's box. The 2-2. Hit to the first baseman. Ellinger is right there to snag it 2 away here in the second. Good contact made by Carrillo, but that was an atom ball right at Ellinger for the second out of the inning. And now Alex Martinez comes up with a runner at second and 2 away here in the second inning. St. Francis looking to kind of continue where they left off in the late innings of Game 1 with those clutch 2-out hits, bringing home runners that were in scoring position. They scored a run in the 5th with 2 outs, scored a run in the 6th with 2 outs, and they actually scored 2 runs with 2 outs in the first inning. Here is Eric Maffey's 2-run blast was with 2 outs. So all 4 runs in this doubleheader so far by St. Francis have been scored with 2 outs. Martinez 1-0 as that first pitch is well inside. Jake's got really good speed, so anything to the outfield should score him. Fouled at the plate by Alex, 1-1. Martinez getting the start at shortstop here in game number 2. Brian Hidalgo got the start at short in game number 1. He went 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch. He gets the second game of the doubleheader off. 1-1 to Martinez. Inside, 2-1. McGuire in the on-deck circle. John grounded a double down the left field line in the first inning. Wind now blowing straight out to left field again. It had died down a little bit right at the beginning of the game. Martinez grounds it to short. McLennan across his body. Nice pick over there at first by Ellinger to retire the side. So St. Francis gets a man in scoring position. Not able to get him in. We're through 2. It's 2-1. We go to the third here at Dooley Health and Care Field. St. Francis carries a 2-1 lead into that third inning, courtesy of a first inning 2-run home run by Eric Maffey, his 10th of the season. Jacob Jerka has allowed 2 hits and a run through 2. He'll face 9-1-2 for Judson. That's Christopher Marlin. Then Benjamin Nelson, Giovanni Davila. Marlin, 5 for 26 on the year. That's 192. He's got a couple of RBIs. There's a strike, 1-1. Jerka with 24 pitches through those 2 innings. Again, with that 2 hits and 1 run. The 1 run courtesy Giovanni Davila with a home run to right. Marlin swings and misses, 1-2. comes the 1-2 to Marlin. High and bounces in and out of the glove of Goosel. Dan not able to hold on to that one to retire Marlin. So Christopher will get another chance here with a 1-2 count against the St. Francis righty, Jacob Jerka. Misses away 2-2. Another pitch that misses away 3-2. So that 1-2 pitch, and Goosel not able to hold on to the foul tip, and that's given Marlin new life here, and he's worked this count full here in the top of the third as he looks to get on base, leading off the inning. Ground ball to third. Hector Carrillo has it. Long throw across the diamond, and that's one away, and 5 straight retired here by Jacob Jerka. Benjamin Nelson steps in. He grounded back to Jerka, leading off this game. Ground ball to the right side. First ball swinging. Maliska flips it to Jerka for the 3-1 putout, and that's 2 away. So Jacob Jerka doing a nice job here so far through 2 2/3 innings. He's allowed 2 hits and just the 1 run. Talked in game 1 about how St. Francis had a couple of pretty good starting outings in a row. Even in that 3-2 loss yesterday, Mac Melcheski went 6 2/3 innings, allowing just 1 run and 7 hits. And then obviously the Sam Pileggi 5 2/3 scoreless ball. And then Jacob Jerka with back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings. That's 7 in a row retired by the righty. We go to the bottom of the third with the Saints up 2-1. Bottom of the third inning, St. Francis with a 2-1 lead. They're making some solid contact here through 2 innings against the Judson starter, Taylor Abercrombie. 5 hits, including a home run by the man in the on-deck circle, Eric Maffey. The man at the dish, John McGuire, 1-for-1, doubled and scored ahead of Maffey on that 2-run blast. His first hit of the doubleheader. He was 0-for-2 in game 1. First pitch from Abercrombie. Stays up. 1-0 to McGuire. John pops it foul. The 1-1 now to the St. Francis second baseman. Hit down the right field line. Almost actually popped foul, almost into the same exact place. 1-2 now on John McGuire, the senior from New Lenox, Illinois. Leading off here in the third, his team up 2-1. And he's hit by a pitch. That is the 13th hit by pitch for Taylor Abercrombie in 32 innings of work this season. Go up there with body armor on if you are the opposition. You got to go up there with body armor on when you're in the field facing this man at the plate, Eric Maffey, who unloaded his 10th home run of the season over the left field wall in the first inning. It was a screaming line drive to left rather than one of those high towering fly balls. Pitch away to Maffey, 1-0. Another pitch away, gets away and down to second will go McGuire. The career arc of Eric Maffey really has been something else. In 2020 as a freshman, he hit 222. He then hit 414 in only 29 plate appearances in 2021. In 2022, he hit close to 400. He hit 384 last season with 5 home runs in 53 games. This season, as a grad student, the average is down a bit, down to 340, but has doubled his home run total it doubled his career high in home runs. He had 5 home runs last year, already has 10 this season in 32 games. So average is down, but the power numbers have skyrocketed for Eric Maffey. He's up in the count here, 3-0. And he draws a 4-pitch walk. So the first 2 batters reach here in the third inning against Taylor Abercrombie. And I mentioned earlier that runners getting on base has been a problem for Taylor Abercrombie here with Judson. He's allowed 38 hits, 20 walks, and hit 11 batters. That's 69 runners on base in 30.2 innings so far here through 2+. He has allowed 5 hits. He's hit 2 batters, and he's walked a batter. So that's 8 base runners in 2+ here for Abercrombie. So this is Luke Ketchum. He was hit by a pitch his first time up. Third baseman Marlin is even with the grass as Ketchum squares to bunt, drops it down the first base line. Luke loses his balance. The throw to first, and there's a collision over there at first as the second baseman Davila was late to cover, and Luke crashed headfirst into Davila, but he gets the job done on the sacrifice bunt, 1-4. That'll move McGuire to third and Maffey to second. And that'll bring up Nate Maliska here with 2 in scoring position and 1 out.
First baseman, number 31, Nate Maliska.
Infield coming in for Judson. All the way around, even with the grass. Nate looking for a couple of RBIs, and he'll get a couple RBIs as he laces a base hit to center. In from third comes McGuire. Here comes the throw to the plate. In comes Maffey. Nate Maliska picks up his second hit of the game, a 2-run single to center, and St. Francis has extended their lead to 3. It is 4-1. So infield in, infield back. That one wouldn't have mattered. That was a hard line drive to center for Nate Maliska, giving him RBIs 3 and 4 on the season. He's 2 for 2 today. He's been on base 3 times in the doubleheader. He reached on a walk in the first game. Dan Gusol now flew out to center, ending the first inning. Gusol foul tips it at the plate, 0-1. St. Francis putting some good swings here on Taylor Abercrombie, and we'll have a visit at the mound here on an 0-1 count. There is action down in the Judson bullpen. Saints looking to win both ends of a doubleheader. It's not always the easiest thing to do. They're up 4-1 here in the bottom of the third. 2-run home run from Eric Maffey in the first, his 10th. 2-run single just now by Nate Maliska over a drawn-in infield, scoring McGuire and Maffey. Infield goes back to their positions. Meeting on the mound is over, and Dan Gusol will continue his at-bat here. Down in the count, 0-1. His team up by 3. Runner over at first is Nate Maliska. The 0-1. Downstairs, 1-1. 9 base runners here through 2 1/3 innings against Taylor Abercrombie. 6 hits, 2 hit by pitch, and a walk. Count now 2-1 on Gusol. It's right-handed action down in the Judson bullpen. On the other side, Jacob Jerka, 3 innings, 2 hits, 1 run. There's a breaking pitch that stays outside, 3-1 on Gusol. Inside, ball 4. Second walk of the game here by Abercrombie. Down to second goes Maliska, and Gio Pappas, who has put 2 really good swings on the ball his last 2 times up. In the 6th inning of game 1, he had a 2-out double down the left field line that started that 2-out rally in the 6th that gave San Francisco their insurance run in that 2-0 win in game 1. And then back in the 2nd inning here, he had a line drive single to right. And I think that's going to be it for Abercrombie. It is going to be it for Abercrombie. We will give you the particulars on the new Judson pitcher here on the other side. St. Francis up 4-1 here, bottom of the 3rd inning. New pitcher on the mound for the Eagles is the righty senior Jacob Williams. Number 24 out there for Judson. He's making his 2nd appearance of the season. An inning and a third in his first appearance. He gave up 5 hits and 5 runs in that 1 inning of work. So that's an ERA of almost 34. And he'll face Gio Pappas here with 2 outs and 2 on in the 3rd, and his team down 4-1. First pitch to Gio, up and in for a ball. Runner at second is Nate Maliska. Runner at first, Dan Gusol. Nate Maliska with a 2-run single here in the 3rd inning to put his team up 4-1. 1-0. Pappas swings through it, 1-1. So the line on Abercrombie so far, 2 1/3 innings. He's given up 6 hits. He's responsible for both base runners. Walked 2, didn't strike anybody out. Hit a couple batters through 44 pitches in 2 1/3 innings. Pitch away to Pappas. Big hack by Gio, swinging at the high pitch. 2-2. If Pappas reaches, Jake Vera would get a chance to hit here in the third. The 2-2 pitch to Gio Pappas. Line drive, fair down the left field line. That'll score Maliska. Gusel will motor into third. Gio Pappas, 3 for his last 3 with a couple of doubles. He picks up a 2-out RBI here, knocking home Nate Maliska, and it is 5-0. And when things are going your way, they're going your way. That ball wasn't hit particularly hard by Gio Pappas, but just a little soft liner down that left field line, right on the line. That's extra bases, and it's an RBI for Gio. That's his 7th run knocked into the season. 2 doubles. Gio 3 for his last 3 with 2 doubles and an RBI. The infield comes in again here for Jake Vera. Jake came into the series into the day hitting 265. He was 0 for 2 in game 1, reached on a fielder's choice here in game 2. And I think the pitch hit him. Yeah, that pitch hit him. So down to first will go Vera. The bases are now loaded with 1 out here in the third for Hector Carrillo.
Third baseman, number 17, Hector Carrillo.
Hector 0 for 2. As the bases loaded, 1 out here in the third inning. The Saints looking to blow this thing open in the third inning. They've put up 3 already. Dan Gusel down at third, Gio Pappas at second, Jake Vera at first. The 1-0, and that hits him. That'll drive in a run. It's a painful RBI for Hector Carrillo, giving him 11 on the season. That forces home Gusel, moves Pappas to third, Vera up to second, and it's 6-1. Ninth man coming to the plate here in the inning for the Saints, Alex Martinez, and there's double-barreled action now down in the Judson pen.
Shortstop, Alex Martinez.
Alex 0 for 2, flew out to right in the first, grounded out to short in the second, comes up with the bases loaded, and 1 out here in the third. Can't catch up to the fastball there, 0-1. Oh, 1 pitch is inside, 1-1. John McGuire in the on-deck circle. He led off this inning getting hit by a pitch. 3 Saints have been hit by pitches here in the third inning. 1-1 now to Martinez. Upstairs, 2-1. Doesn't get any easier if Martinez reaches John McGuire, followed by Eric Maffey and Luke Ketchum. 1 out here in the third. Saints have already scored 4. It's 6-1, bottom 3. 2-1 now. That's right there for a strike. Alex didn't agree with that. Called maybe a bit outside, giving Williams the benefit of the doubt, though. So the line on Abercrombie is complete. 2 1/3, 6 hits, 6 runs, 2 walks, no strikeouts. Jacob Williams has come in. gave up a double to Gio Pappas and then hit Jake Vera and Hector Carrillo. The count is now full on Alex Martinez. Gio Pappas at third, Vera at second, Carrillo at first. Martinez going to pick up an RBI with the bases loaded. Here comes the payoff pitch. Down and in. That'll drive in a run. Alex Martinez picks up the RBI on the walk. That's RBI number 11 for Alex. It's a 5 spot here in the third. It is 7-1 rather. And the Saints have batted around here in the third inning. Coming up now will be John McGuire, who got this thing started a little bit ago at this point with a hit by pitch, leading off the third inning. Base is still full of Saints. Another pitch in the dirt. The 1-0 now to John McGuire. Catches the outer edge for a strike, 1-1. This inning started with a John McGuire hit by pitch. Eric Maffey drew a walk. Luke Ketchum would sacrifice them both over. Nate Maliska would score them both on an RBI single. And then a walk to Dan Gusel, a double to Gio Pappas. Vera and Carrillo were hit by pitch. And that's a great catch by the second baseman, Davila, who flips it to McLennan, doubling up Hector Carrillo. And just like that, Judson gets out of the inning as the Saints run into a double play here in the third. But they pick up 5. We go to the fourth. The Saints up 7-1. A long wait on the bench for Jacob Jerka, who comes back out now with a 6-run lead. His team put up a 5 spot in the bottom of the third. He has retired the last 7 Judson hitters he's faced. He'll face Ellinger, Babcock, and Zaratsky here in the fourth inning. On the outside edge for a strike. Ellinger flew out to left in the first inning. And I mentioned in the second inning that Jacob has pitched better as of late. He's allowed 5 earned runs in his last 9 innings of work. Seen that ERA come down. He's only given up 1 run in 3 so far today. So that's 6 earned runs in his last 12 innings. It's a 4.5 ERA. You will take that. Lazy fly ball to left, and there's 1 out here in the fourth. 8 in a row now set down by Jerka. His last time out was a 3-inning outing. Gave up 4 hits and 3 runs against Roosevelt. Prior to that, on 327, 2 earned runs in 4. He's only gone more than 4 once, and that was his very first start back on February 10th. So he's well on his way to reaching that 4-inning mark here. He's gone 3 1/3 so far, so I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but 3 1/3 so far, 1 hit, 1 run. Hasn't walked anybody, hasn't struck anybody out, and he's facing Jordan Babcock, who singled his first time up. Ground ball to the first baseman, Maliska, to Jerka covering Nicely done by Jacob fielding his position. He's done that a couple of times here today, and that's 2 away here in the fourth. 9 straight retired by Jerka. This is Zaratsky. He swings at the first pitch and misses. He popped up to the third baseman to end inning number 1. 1-1 now on Zaratsky. Jerka came in with an ERA just over 10, 10.13. But again, he's pitched well as of late, and he's pitching really well here today. Given up 40 hits in his first 24 innings of work, only 2 in 3 2/3 innings so far here this afternoon. Pitch is down 3-1 here on Zaratsky. Don't walk a ton of hitters. He's walked 13 in 24 innings. There's a strike, 3-2. And when you're up by 6, you just want to put that ball over the plate and let your defense do its thing. It's right-handed action down in the Judson bullpen. Ground ball back up the middle, grounded into center field for a base hit for Zaratsky. He's got 3 hits here in the doubleheader. He was 2 for 3 in game 1, 1 for 2 here in game 2. And that'll bring up Alex Spang now with 2 outs and a runner at first. Spang grounded out to second, leading off the second inning. And you can go back and you can look at Jacob's season. Jacob, just a freshman, 6'1", 205 pounds. You can go back and you can look at his season. You can really pinpoint. It's a ground ball to second base, right at McGuire, steps on the bag. And I'll tell you what you can pinpoint on the other side of the break as we go to the bottom of the fourth and the Saints are up 6. Bottom of the fourth inning, the Saints with a 7-1 lead and a new pitcher out there for Judson. Jacob Williams pitched 2/3 of an inning, gave up a hit, a run. He walked one, didn't strike anybody out. And here in the bottom of the fourth, they will face Jason Clem for Judson. Jason is a 6-foot junior out of DeKalb, making his 13th appearance of the season. He's 1-2 with an ERA of 14.09. 28 hits in 15 innings for Clem. He's walked 16. He struck out 17. Opponents are hitting a cool 400 against Clem. And he'll face Eric Maffey to get this thing started. Maffey catch him in Maliska here in the fourth. Eric's 1 for 1. Hit a 2-run home run in the first. Walked and scored in the third. Clem, bit of a sidearmish style delivery. He's up in the count here, 0-2 on the St. Francis cleanup hitter and designated hitter today. And Maffey swings and misses. So Eric goes down on 3 pitches here against Clem, 1 away.
Center fielder, number 20, Luke Ketchum.
And Clem will strike some batters out. He averages more than a strikeout in innings, 17 strikeouts in 15 innings. But he also walks more than a batter an inning, 16 walks in those 15 and a third innings. Luke Ketchum now 0 for 1. Luke first pitch swinging, pops it up to the right side. That'll land on top of the St. Francis dugout, bounce into the seats. Luke dropped a bunt down the first base line his last time up, which was in the third inning, which pushed John McGuire over to third, Eric Maffey down to first, which set the stage for Nate Maliska's 2-run single. 7 runs on 7 hits, no errors for the Saints. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for Judson. And Clem's ahead of Ketchum, 0 and 2. You have to wonder if maybe that sidearm funky delivery is kind of throwing things off for St. Francis here a little bit in the 4th. Misses away. And that gets him. Stayed inside, so Luke's been hit by 2 pitches today. That is the 4th hit by pitch by Judson this afternoon. Nate Maliska now. Nate 2 for 2 in this one with a couple of RBIs. He was 0 for 2 with a walk in yesterday's game, or game 1 rather, excuse me. He's reached base 3 times here today, and I think the Judson manager coming out and talking to the home plate umpire because Luke didn't make a huge effort to get out of the way of that pitch. And the umpires are going to discuss it. See what they decide on here. And they're going to award him first base. Yeah, you just saw the Judson coach chicken wing that left arm, saying that Luke kind of leaned into that one a little bit. At any rate, Luke Ketchum down at first base now for a second time today. He's been on base twice. Nate 2 for 2. Single in the first, 2-run single in the third. We're in the 4th. It's 7-1. First pitch in the dirt. Ketchum takes off for second, and he is safe. And give Luke the stolen base there. That's his 7th stolen base of the season. The ball was in the dirt, and it was scooped by Munoz, and Ketchum went into second standing up, avoiding that tag. 1-0 now on Nate. Single for Nate here would give him 3 RBIs, more than likely. Tipped at the plate, 1-1. Shortstop McLennan playing behind Ketchum, trying to keep him close to that second base bag. Clem fakes the throw down to second. Back in is Luke. Clem with a long look in. Now he comes home with it. That catches the outside corner for a strike. 1-2 on Maliska. Dan Gusel in the on-deck circle. Gio Pappas, if anybody reaches. Saints won game 1 of this doubleheader 2-0. They only allowed 2 hits in that game. Away 2-2. Sam Pileggi was absolutely fantastic in game 1. 5 2/3 innings, 1 hit, no runs. He walked 3. All 3 of those walks were in his last inning of work as he was starting to tire. Struck out 5, picked up his first win of the season. That was his best and longest outing of the season. Hit the left center field. Back on it is Nelson, and he is there to make the catch. 2 away. Back to second goes Ketchum. Dan Gusel comes up now with 2 outs, a runner at second here in the 4th. Dan 0 for 1. He walked and scored in the third. Dan getting the start behind the plate today for game 2. Gusel lines it to right. Over for it is Babcock, and he makes the sliding catch out in right field. He's done that a couple of times today. This time it was in fair territory, though. Makes the catch and retires the side. The Saints strand a runner at second. We're through 4. St. Francis 7, Judson 1. We're back for inning number 5 here, and Jacob Jerka is 1 out away from matching his longest outing of the season. I was talking a little bit about Jacob last inning, and I said that there was something noticeable about his outings. And if you look back at his outings this year, he's really only had, this being his 12th appearance of the season, he's really only had 3 outings that you would say were not good. He gave up 5 runs in an inning and 2/3 against Weber International back on 3-8. He gave up 3 runs in 2/3 of an inning against Lyon back on 2-18, as there's a leadoff single for Diego Munoz getting things started here in the 5th. And then he gave up 3 runs in an inning and 2/3 against Warner back on the 6th. But he hasn't pitched poorly otherwise. He had, after that, 3 innings and 2/3 of an inning, or 3 runs and 2/3 of an inning against Lyon on the 18th. He came back with 3 innings of 1-run ball against Lyon the very next day. Again, he's pitched well here over his last 3 outings, so he's trending in the right direction, which makes sense as a freshman, right? I mean, they come in trying to get their legs underneath them in college ball, and the second half of the season seems to be looking a little bit better here for Jacob than the first half did. He needs 1 out to match the longest appearance of the season for him. But Judson's going to make him work for it as that ball gets through Pappas. Munoz hits third. He will score. Over to third goes McLennan, and that is a single and a two-base error on the right fielder, Gio Pappas. So Judson is on the board here again. It is 7-2 with nobody out in the 5th. Couple of hard hit balls here in the 5th inning by Munoz and McLennan. Jerka had come in with thrown 47 pitches here through 4. Runner at third, now nobody out, and Chris Marlin steps in. He takes the pitch outside for a ball. So single, E9, allowing Munoz to come in and score. Unearned run. It pitches upstairs to Marlin. He's up in the count here, 2-0. Make it 3-0. Quinn McGuire making his way down to the St. Francis bullpen here. He starts to get warm. 3-0. Called a strike. Marlin about to toss the bat away, but he's called back into the batter's box. Jerka will take an out for a run here, 3-1. Make it 3-2 as it's foul tipped into the mitt of Dan Gusel. Diego Munoz led off with a single to center. Alec McLennan with a line drive to right that got through Gio Pappas. That pitch popped up into center. Luke Ketchum, the sure-handed Luke Ketchum, makes the catch out in center. Marlin gets the job done with the sac fly to center. In from third is McLennan, and it's 7-3 now. Again, you will take that if you are Jerka. Now 1 out here in the 5th, nobody on. Top of the order, and Benjamin Nelson. Nelson 0 for 2 here today, 0 for 4 in the doubleheader. Pitch misses upstairs. So at 4 1/3 innings, this has tied Jerka's longest outing of the season. He's given up 5 hits, 3 runs. 2 of them have been earned. Fouled off to the left, out of play. Hasn't walked anybody, hasn't struck anybody out. But giving his team a chance to win, and that's all you're looking for out of your starter. Your offense is giving you 7. So you go out there, you throw strikes. When you throw strikes, you're going to give up some hits. Giving up a couple of hits this inning, a couple of runs, but his team is still up 4. It's 2-1 now on Nelson. Giovanni Davila in the on-deck circle. Popped up to shallow right field. Pappas comes in on it. Gio comes in hard, and he charges and makes the one-handed catch for the second out here in the 5th inning. Yeah, right field's going to start to be a bit of a problem from a sun point of view here over the next inning or so. You can see those long shadows starting to creep out across third base and shortstop with the light stanchion down the left field line. And as that sun starts to get lower, it's going to get harder and harder out there in right field. But Gio did a nice job coming in and making the catch there. So this is officially the longest outing of Jacob Jerka's career, and I know he would love to get through 5 if he can here. He's got 2 outs, nobody on. Giovanni Davila, who tagged him for a home run in the 1st, is up. Away, 2-0. So we've seen a couple of really good starting pitching appearances here today for St. Francis as that pitch is poured in for a strike. That makes 3 straight quality starts for this Saints pitching staff. 2-1. Hit down the left field line, 2-2 as that one's out of play. Giovanni Davila hit his 2nd home run of the season over the fence in right field back in the 1st inning, which gave Judson a 1-0 lead. 2-2 grounded to first, scooped cleanly by Meliska. He steps on the bag, and Jacob Jerka gives St. Francis 5 innings of 3-run baseball. We go to the bottom of the 5th. The Saints are up 7-3. Bottom of the 5th inning, Jason Clem back out there for his 2nd inning of work. He pitched a scoreless 4th, striking out Eric Maffey. He'll face Pappas, Vera, and Carrillo here in the bottom of the 5th. His Hawks got a little bit closer, or excuse me, his Eagles got a little closer in the top of the inning, scoring a couple, making it 7-3. 7 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for the Saints. 3-5-0 for the Judson Eagles. Gio Pappas takes the first pitch upstairs. Gio's 2 for 2, has a single, a double, and an RBI, and he's 3 for his last 3 at the dish. Fouled straight back. He's on that pitch. 1-1 on the right fielder, Gio Pappas. And you know he wants to atone for that error he made last inning that allowed one of those 2 Judson runs to score and allowed that runner to get over to third, who became the 2nd run of the inning. That one caught the inside corner, 1-2 on Pappas. Gio lofts it to center. Zaratsky in on it initially, now back on it and makes the catch. 1 away here in inning number 5. Jake Vera reached on a fielder's choice in the 2nd. He was hit by a pitch in the 3rd. That was 1 of 3 hit by pitches in that 5-run 3rd inning. Could have been a lot worse if not for the inning-ending line-out double play, as that ball that John McGuire hit with the bases loaded was ticketed for right center field. But the snow cone catch by Davila, who then flipped it to McLennan, doubled off Hector Carrillo at second base, ending that threat. That was a 5-run inning, turned a 2-1 game into a 7-1 game. We're in the bottom of the 5th. 7 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for St. Francis. 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Judson Eagles. Chris Marlin in on the grass, expecting a bunt from Vera. Jake hits it high out to left field, and no one's going to get that. It's over the head of Benjamin Nelson. Vera hits second hard, turns and has to scamper back in with the 1-out double. So they've been playing Jake shallow all afternoon, and he burned him there as that ball got up into the breeze and just lofted it over the head of Benjamin Nelson for a 1-out double. Hector Carrillo will step in now. Hector was hit by a pitch and drove in a run the hard way in the 3rd inning. Flew out in the 1st. Has a runner in scoring position now with 1 out here in the 5th inning as St. Francis looks to get those runs back that they gave up in the top of this inning. First pitch to Carrillo. Hector swings at the high pitch off the end of the bat, fouls it straight back. Hector was 1 for 2 in game 1, had the first hit of the game for St. Francis in that first game. It was a 5th inning, 2-out single. Ground ball down the first base line, eats up Ellinger, and diving into first base diving into first base is Carrillo. He's called out, and Vera will go down to third. So that was a very close play at first base as Carrillo's able to get makes the head first dive into first, but Ellinger's able to get to the bag first. So Alex Martinez now with a runner at 3rd and 2 outs here in the 5th. St. Francis looking for a little more 2-out magic here in this doubleheader. First pitch well away to Martinez. If Alex reaches, John McGuire gets a chance to hit. Alex walked and drove in a run his last time up. Right there for a strike. Alex was the 9th man to bat in that 3rd inning. Runner at third's Jake Vera. He's there on a 1-out double. Outside 2-1. On the outside half, 2-2, and I don't think Alex agreed with that one as he takes a step out of the box. Gets back in, digs himself in. Clem looking for a second strikeout of the afternoon. The 2-2 pitch. Oh, and he gets it. Again, Martinez doesn't like that one, but on the outside edge, called strike 3. Second strikeout of the game for Clem, and that retires the side. St. Francis strands a runner at third. We go to the 6th. The Saints are up by 4. As Sweet Caroline plays here at Dooley Health and Care Field, the Saints with a 4-run lead top of the 6th inning, and Jacob Jerka back out there for his 6th inning of work. He's given up 5 hits, 3 runs, only 1 of them earned here through 5. Hasn't walked anybody, hasn't struck anybody out. Here he will face Timothy Ellinger. First pitch is downstairs for a ball. Ellinger 0 for 2, a couple of flyouts to left. It'll be Ellinger, Babcock, and Zaratsky here in the 6th. There's a strike, 1-1. Quinn McGuire still warming up down in the Saints bullpen. Upstairs, 2-1. Jerk at 63 pitches through 5. Because he hasn't walked anybody and he hasn't struck anybody out, that pitch count is still fairly low. Ground ball topped to the right side, foul. Gave up the long home run to Davila in the first. But other than that, just 4 singles since that point for Judson. Jerka's done a really nice job here in game 2 of this doubleheader. The 2-2 pitch. Hit to left, over for it is Vera. Jake won't get there. That's called a foul ball. And the Judson bullpen is saying that ball landed on the other side of the line, but it's going to be called a foul ball here. Fortunately for St. Francis, home plate umpire doesn't always have the best view of that. The bullpen pitchers down there saw it pretty clearly. They thought it was fair, but we'll do it again here on the 2-2. The leadoff man, Timothy Ellinger, 0 for 2 in game 1 with a walk, 0 for 2 here in game 2. Another fly ball down the left field line, and sliding into the fence hard is Hector Carrillo. And he's sitting up, but he went into that concrete wall really, really hard, but he bounces right back up. Trainers immediately make their way over to him, but he's not going to want to come out of this game. You can tell already. He bounced right back up after he hit the wall. You can't see it down that left field line, but right in front of right in between the bullpen mounds and the bullpen plates down there in the Judson bullpen. 3 St. Francis players converged. Alex Martinez, Jake Vera, Hector Carrillo, and Hector was the closest one to fielding that, and he slid almost shin first into the concrete, but he will stay in the game. And we will do the 2-2 pitch again from Jerka to Ellinger. Bellinger, Babcock, Zaratsky, if anybody reaches, Alex Spang here in the 6th. 2-2. Stayed away the whole time. Count goes full. Jerka pounds his glove. You just tell he wasn't thrilled with that pitch as it stayed outside the entire time. Here comes the payoff. Topped foul over towards the St. Francis dugout. One more time, the payoff pitch. Grounded to Carrillo at third. The ball finds you. He makes the clean, hard throw over to first, though, one away here in the 6th inning. So he's challenged right after banging into the concrete wall. Scoops that payoff pitch, makes the clean throw over to first. One out here in the 6th. That's now 5 1/3 for Jerka. And he gave up those 2 hits leading off the 5th inning to Munoz and McLennan, 2 hard hit balls, and you thought maybe that was the beginning sort of the end here for Jacob Jerka, but then 4 straight outs. Sack fly, another fly out, a ground out, and then a ground out here in the 6th. So he's battled back nicely after giving up those 2 singles and then the 2-base error on the right fielder. Ground ball to the right side. Meliska for the 3rd time today. Third base to pitcher covering. Babcock is out for the 2nd time today on a 3-1 putout. It's the 3rd 3-1 putout of the game by St. Francis. Those PFPs are working for young Mr. Jerka out there on the mound as he's fielding his position well today. Adam Zaratsky, 1 for 2 in this one. He was 2 for 3 in game 1. First pitch swinging, fouls it straight back. Hits the face, the front facing of the facade of the overhang, and bounces back down onto the 2nd row right next to the St. Francis dugout. The next pitch grounded down the third base line, foul. Oh, 0-2 the count now on Zaratsky. If he reaches, Alex Spang would get a chance to hit. Ooh. All of the St. Francis infielders took a step to their left, and the catcher, Dan Gusel, took about 2 steps to his right as he thought that was going to be called strike 3. Here comes the 1-2. Popped in the air to left. There are a couple steps over, a couple steps in. Jake makes the catch, and that is 6 innings of 3-run ball here for Jacob Jerka. Only 1 of those runs earned. He's been fantastic here in game 2. We go to the bottom of the 6th. The Saints still lead by 4. Bottom of the 6th inning, and this game has settled down a little bit. St. Francis looked like they were going to blow this thing wide open back in the 3rd inning, but they've been held off the scoreboard here the last couple of innings by Jason Clem, who struck out a couple here in 2 innings of work. We're in the bottom of the 6th. Saints with a 7-3 lead. St. Francis will send up McGuire, Maffey, and Ketchum. And there's a ground ball down the left field line up over the mound. And John will have himself his second double of the afternoon, and he ran right out of his shin guard on that leadoff double. So almost a carbon copy that double he hit in the first. This one was off the line a little bit more. But the end result is the same, and that's a leadoff double here for John McGuire. He has 2 hits. He's been on base 3 times. Picked up the save in game 1. I'd say this is a pretty satisfactory doubleheader so far for John McGuire. Eric Maffey now. Eric 1 for 2. He struck out his last time up. First time up, he hit a line drive home run to left. First pitch swinging, pops it up on the right side. In on it comes Babcock. He didn't see it initially. Still doesn't see it. It hits the ground. Nobody touches it. And Eric Maffey will have himself a gift double. On to third goes John McGuire, as he had to wait and see if anybody was going to field it. But that right field, talked about this last inning, that those fly balls to right are going to be a problem. And you could see that Babcock was having trouble with that right away. And that landed in between Babcock, Davila, and Ellinger out there in right field. So Luke Ketchum now with 2 runners in scoring position. Nobody out in the infield in here for Judson. Luke's been hit by 2 pitches and laid down a sac bunt. First pitch to the center fielder, swung on and missed. Luke came in as the team's leading hitter, 349 on the season. He's 0 for 3 so far this afternoon. He has been on base twice. The 0-1 popped up straight back. Munoz has a play on it, and he makes the catch. So Ketchum fouls out here with runners at second and third, nobody out. Now Nate Maliska. Nate came up in this very situation back in the third inning with McGuire at third, Maffey at second, and he drove them both in with a line drive single to center. See if he can repeat that. Picked up RBIs 3 and 4 with that single to center back in the third. First pitch to Nate. Ground ball fielded by the shortstop. The throw home and safe at the plate is John McGuire. And the Judson manager and Diego Munoz does not like that call. Down to second. Heady base running there by Nate Maliska as he goes down to second on, I don't know what you would call that, but yeah, a lot of discussion here at home plate between the Judson manager and the home plate umpire. John McGuire scores. Eric Maffey to third. Maliska down to second. This is going to be a fielder's choice, I believe, or are they going to give him a hit? Going to give him a hit there. Let's see exactly what it comes up as on the scorebug. At any rate, Maffey's at third, Maliska's at second, Goosel's at the plate. St. Francis has a 5-run lead back here. It is 8-3. Ball gets away down in the Judson bullpen, so we have timeout called here. I think they're still trying to determine what to call that, but that should be a fielder's choice as the shortstop McLennan came home with it, and then Maliska just went down to second. Gusel pops it up on the right side. Davila and Ellinger. Ellinger makes the catch, 2 away. So it should be a fielder's choice and an RBI for Nate Maliska. Still 2 in scoring position now with 2 outs, and Gio Pappas steps in. Gio 2 for 3, has a single, a double, and an RBI. First pitch to Pappas, swing and a miss. Now, it is ruled a fielder's choice and an RBI for Nate Maliska, so that's 3 RBIs here for the freshman Nate Maliska in game 2 of this doubleheader. Gio looking for a 2-run single or something here. High in the air, out to left. Back on it goes Nelson. He's on the track. He's at the wall and makes the catch right up against the wall. Gio gave it a ride, but not deep enough. So San Francisco scores a run. They strand 2 in scoring position. We go to the 7th. The Saints are up 8-3. We're in the 7th, and look at that, Jacob Jerka back out there. He's retired the last 6 batters he's faced, and he comes back out here for his 7th inning of work. Remember, his longest outing of the year was all the way back at the beginning of February. He went 4 1/3 innings in his first appearance of the season. He's pitched 6 complete here. First pitch to Spang is down and in. Jerk is at 78 pitches through 6. Again, because he hasn't walked anybody, he hasn't struck anybody out, he's not going deep into these counts. He's out there with a 5-run lead here in the 7th. Hit hard, but right at the shortstop Martinez. Alex, a couple of pumps, and nice pick over there at first by Meliska. Nate's having himself a whale of a game, too, here. 3 RBIs. He's been playing some really good defense over there at first base as well. So you put a star next to that one, and Martinez, Alex owes Nate a Coke when this one's all said and done. Diego Munoz steps in. He singled his last time. It was a hard single to center leading off the 5th inning. He scored that first run, first of the 2 runs in that 5th inning. He singled. He came all the way in to score on the error out in right field by Gio Pappas. Downstairs, 2-0. So 6 1/3 innings for Jacob Jerka here. 3 runs, only 1 of them are earned. 5 hits. The 2-0 is inside for a ball, 3-0. Looks like Quinn McGuire is ready down there in the bullpen, just casually taking some throws here now. And he draws a 4-pitch walk. So Munoz reaches for a 2nd time today. First walk of the game for Jerka. Alec McLennan now. We have a pinch runner down there at first base. It's number 9, Max Freund.
Running over at first base, number 9, Max Friend. Now batting.
Max Friend pinch running here in the 7th. McLennan with a shot to left center field. It gets down. Vera cuts it off. Throws to third, and because he threw back towards third, that allows McLennan to dig into second with a double. And Judson with a hard hit ball here in the 7th inning. Now 2 runners in scoring position with 1 out. We'll see if that's going to do it here for Jerka. It looks like it might. Yep, as the call is made to the bullpen by Brian Mahalik, and he will call on Quinn McGuire. We'll give you Quinn's particulars here right on the other side. Saints lead Judson 8-3, top 7. The new pitcher for the Saints here in the top of the 7th is Quinn McGuire. Quinn is making his 13th appearance of the season out of the bullpen. He's a sophomore out of New Lenox. Quinn, 13 appearances on the year. He's made a couple of starts. He's 2-3 with an ERA. 5.91 on the year, 21 1/3 innings, 26 hits. Walked 12, struck out 15. Opponents are batting .302 against the 6'2", 224-pound right-hander, I should say, Quinn McGuire. Comes in relief of Jacob Jerka, who was terrific. 6 1/3 innings for Jacob, 6 hits. So far, he's given up 3 runs. Only 1 of them are earned. Walked 1, struck out none. He went 2 full innings longer than his longest outing of the season here this afternoon. So a couple of long outings by St. Francis starting pitching, really in all 3 games of this series. Count is 1-1 here on Chris Marlin. He has Friend at second, Alec McLennan Friend at third. He came in as a pinch runner for Diego Munoz. Alec McLennan at second, and it's 2-1 now on Marlin. This game's far from over. It's only a 5-run game. Judson has 2 runners in scoring position here with 1 out. Throw down to second, and McLennan back in safely. And it's not a surprise. Alec McLennan is a .300 hitter, leads this team in hitting. And McLennan maybe looked like he jammed his hand on the base. He's still on all 4s down there at second base. Training staff coming out to look at him. With a win today, St. Francis would move to 7-7 in CCAC play this season. And it looks like McLennan's got to come out of the game. Yeah, he jammed that left arm. He wants to stay in the game, and they won't let him. He tried to turn around and go right back to second base, but he is being pulled. He is being pulled from the game here. We'll see who replaces him at second base. Looks like number 38, I believe, is what we're being told.
Your attention, running over at second base for the Eagles, number 38, Joshua Taylor.
It's Joshua Taylor will pinch run here for Alec McLennan in the 7th inning. 2-1 pitch on the inside edge, 2-2 to Marlin. So elsewhere in CCAC action today, Trinity International defeated Olivet Nazarene 6-5. St. Xavier over Roosevelt 5-3. Get the 2-2 pitch, fouled straight back. St. Ambrose defeated Calumet of Indiana 2-1. And then Indiana South Bend defeated Trinity Christian 8-2. In the second game of the Trinity International Olivet Nazarene doubleheader, Olivet Nazarene with a 17-1 victory over Trinity International. That game finished in 7 innings. Game 2, Roosevelt leading St. Xavier 11-5. Indiana South Bend, Trinity Christian scoreless in the 8th. And then St. Ambrose is up on Calumet, Indiana 3-2, top 6 there. Payoff pitch fouled at the plate. We'll do the payoff pitch here again. Max Frun, the pinch runner at third. Joshua Taylor, the pinch runner at second. 3-2 the count on Marlin here in the top of the 7th. 1 away. Ground ball to third. He's going to come home with it. And out at home is Frund on the 5-2 putout. And that was a very aggressive play by Hector Carrillo at the plate with a 5-run lead, but it pays off as McLennan stays at second base. Marlin reaches first on the fielder's choice, and St. Francis is able to cut down that lead runner at the plate. Collision at the plate there between Frund and Dan Gusol. The Judson manager has had a difficult time here in game 2. This is the third or fourth time he's come out to argue a call with the umpires. I think he's saying that Gusol blocked the plate. And now he's talking to Dan Gusol. Umpires come down and break it up. I think he was complaining, saying that Dan was blocking the plate. Got a little heated there for a second as Rama Howlett came out to defend his player and the umpires got involved, but cooler heads have prevailed here. 2 outs now in the 7th. Benjamin Nelson comes up. Now instead of runners at second and third, you have runners at first and second with 2 outs. Nelson's 0 for 3. Pitch well wide. One-0 pitch. Up 2-0. If Nelson reaches, Giovanni Davila would get a chance to hit. Davila homered all the way back in the first inning. St. Francis won game 1 of this doubleheader 2-1. A 2-hit shutout, combined shutout for Sam Pileggi and John McGuire. Pileggi was terrific. 5 2/3 innings, 1 hit, no runs. And then Jacob Jerka said, anything you can do, I can do better. 6 1/3 today for Jacob. 6 hits. He's given up 3 runs. Only 1 of them were earned, though. He's responsible for the runner at second, Joshua Taylor, as the 3-0 pitch is pumped in for a strike by Quinn. 3-1. Taylor at second, Marlin at first, 2 away here in the 7th. The 3-1. Called a strike, 3-2. Long top of the 7th inning without any runs scored. Here comes the payoff. Both runners go in the dirt, ball 4. Down to first goes Nelson. First walk of the game for McGuire. Second walk of the game by St. Francis pitching here in this one, and that'll load the bases for Giovanni Davila. The tying run in the on-deck circle. Davila can make this a 1-run game with 1 swing of the bat. He hit a home run to right back in the first inning. Since then, he's flown out to center and grounded out 3 unassisted. Ball 1. No place to put him. Eagles all over the base paths. Joshua Taylor is at third. He pinch ran for Alec McLennan, who jammed his arm. Pitch hit in the air out to center, right at Luke Ketchum, though. The shore-handed Ketchum is there, makes the catch, and that retires the side. So the book is closed on Jacob Jerka. 6 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 1 earned. He didn't walk anybody, or he walked 1. He struck out none. It's time to stretch. Get up and stretch those muscles. We'll be back at the bottom of the 7th. The Saints are up 5. Bottom of the 7th inning, new pitcher here for Judson is the lefty, Jake Bianco. Jake, a 6 foot, 185-pound freshman out of Sugar Grove by way of Camelin High School, making his 6th appearance of the season. He's facing Jake Vera. Jake pops up the first pitch he sees down the left field 9. Benjamin Elson is there, 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 7th. Bianco, his 6th appearance of the year. He started 2 games. He's 0-2 with an ERA north of 17. 7 2/3 innings. He's allowed 17 hits on the season. He's walked 8, struck out 7. Opponents are hitting .405 against the freshman Bianco, and he will face Hector Carrillo here. Hector's 0 for 3. Was hit by a pitch and drove in a run with that hit by pitch back in that 5-run 3rd inning. In there for a strike, 0 and 1. So that 7th inning, top of the 7th inning, Judson had 2 runners in scoring position with 1 out. They went to Quinn McGuire, and he was able to work out of that jam. Foul tipped at the plate off the leg of Carrillo, and Hector goes down in a heap. He's had himself a difficult couple of innings here, as back in the 5th inning, he slid shin first into the concrete wall down the left field line. Those lower extremities are going to need an ice bath for St. Francis hot corner after this one. It's amazing, though, how quickly these players bounce back up and put their batting helmet on when the trainer makes their way over to them, though. Hector has no interest in coming out of this baseball game at all. 8 runs on 11 hits with 1 error for St. Francis. 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors for Judson. This is the 4th pitcher of the game for the Eagles. Line drive right back up the middle as Bianco has to get out of the way of that one, as Carrillo picks up his 2nd hit of the doubleheader, a 1-out single to center field. Taylor Abercrombie went the first 2 1/3 innings and struggled to give up 6 hits, walked a couple, hit a couple batters, gave up 6 runs. Jacob Williams came in, pitched 2/3 of an inning, gave up a hit and a run. Jason Clem really settled things down nicely for the Eagles, though. 3 innings, gave up 1 run, struck out a couple. And now Jake Bianco here in the 7th. 1 out, runner at first is Hector Carrillo. Alex Martinez 0 for 3. He's a walk and an RBI. He struck out looking his last time up. Standing in the on-deck circle, John McGuire has hit 3 laser beams in this game. Fouled off the foot of Alex Martinez. So that left foot for each of the last 2 batters has taken a beating here in the batter's box. Eight 3, Saints with the lead. The 1-1. Downstairs for a ball, 2-1. Martinez, McGuire, Maffey. The next 3 up for the St. Francis Saints. 2-1. Upstairs and away. 3-1. St. Francis with 12 hits. They've drawn 3 walks. They've been hit by 4 pitches. 19 base runners. Martinez out to left center field. Zarafsky will call it. He'll make the catch for the 2nd out here in inning number 7. John McGuire now. John, 2 for 3. He has a couple of doubles right down the 3rd base line. Was hit by a pitch in the 3rd and lined into a double play that ended that 5-run 3rd inning, but that ball was about 3 inches higher. It would have been probably another extra base hit and at least 2 more RBIs for John, but as it was caught by Giovanni Davila, who doubled off Correa and ended that inning. And again, he's aiming for that 3rd base bag, but this time Chris Marlin is basically standing on the 3rd base line. He has that right foot about a step off the third base line here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th as McGuire's gone right down that line twice. There goes the runner from first, fouled at the plate. So Carrillo will have to go back to first base. Eric Maffey in the on-deck circle. Long look in from Bianco. Looks at Carrillo, comes home. There goes Hector again. Another ground ball down the third base line. So St. Francis hit and run on a couple of pitches back to back here in the bottom of the 7th. Do it again. The 0-2. Off speed pitch almost gets John. He's able to back out of the way. The 1-2 now throw over to first, and Hector's almost picked off. He was leaning. Make that little scramble step back to the bag and get in safely. The 1-2 now to John McGuire. Hit down, hit foul off to the right. Stays 1-2. There goes Carrillo, and McGuire laces that one long, deep, and foul down that third base line. Hector Carrillo getting his sprints in down there at first base. Called strike 3 on the outside corner, and that will retire the side here in the 7th inning. We go to the 8th. The Saints are still up 8-3. Top of the 8th inning here at Dooley Health and Care Field. And we have a new pitcher out there for St. Francis in the 8th. It is Sean Mahalik for Quinn McGuire. Quinn pitched 2/3 of an inning and wriggled out of a base or a runner on second and third jam. He walked one, didn't strike anybody out, but did what he needed to do and got out of that issue. So Sean Mahalik comes in now. We'll give you Sean's numbers here in a second. First pitch to Ellinger is downstairs for a ball. Grounded to first, scooped by Ellinger, takes it to the bag. one away here in inning number 8 on the 3U. So Ellinger's now 0 for 4. Jordan Babcock 1 for 3 in this one. A couple of 3-1 putouts and then a single back in the first. So for Sean Mahalik, his 15th appearance of the season, 3-1 with a 3.77 earned run average, 31 innings, 27 hits. Doesn't walk anybody, only 5 walks in 31 innings, 16 strikeouts, opponents batting .225. And there is Maliska again, another 3-1 putout. So Jordan Babcock has grounded out 3 to pitcher covering 3 times here this afternoon, including in his last 3 at-bats. 2 quick outs from Mahalik here in the 8th, and he'll face Adam Zaratsky with 2 outs, nobody on in the 8th, and his team up 5. Jacob Jerka, 6 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 1 earned. He walked 1. He didn't strike anybody out. St. Francis pitching hasn't struck a single batter out in 7 2/3 innings here, but they have a 5-run lead in the 8th. 1-1 now on Zaratsky. There have been 4 putouts that are first baseman to pitcher covering. So these St. Francis Saints pitchers have been practicing their PFPs for sure. That pitcher fielding practice has been effective here for the St. Francis Saints. Grounded hard to third. Carrillo bobbles it, gets it, and airmails the throw. And it hits the netting, bounces back, and that will let Zaratsky find his way into second on the E5. I don't think I've ever seen that before, as the throw from Carrillo went over everything, and it rebounded off the net that's in front of the fence in front of the St. Francis dugout, bounced all the way back into the middle infield, and allowed Zaratsky to reach second base. So Adam Zaratsky at second now with 2 outs on the E5, and that'll bring up Alex Spang. Alec 0 for 2. Reached on a fielder's choice back in the 4th. We're in the 8th. Saints with a 5-run lead. Spang swings and misses there, 0-1. Diego Munoz in the on-deck circle if it gets that far. Grounded off of Mahalik to the shortstop. Martinez has it, throws it to first. Just your casual 1-6-3 putout to end the 8th inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th. The Saints are up 5. Bottom of the 8th here for St. Francis as they look to tack on a couple of insurance runs against Jake Bianco, who's back out there for his 2nd inning of work. Bianco gave up a hit, struck out a batter in the 7th. He'll face Maffey, Ketchum, and Maliska here in the 8th. Eric got the scoring started for St. Francis with a laser beam home run to left, his 10th of the year back in the 1st inning. He's walked, struck out, and Had a gift double his last time up as he just blooped a ball into right field that landed between 3 defenders. He was stranded at second there. For Eric, that was his 10th home run of the season. Team-leading 10th home run, team-leading 33rd, 32nd and 33rd RBIs of the season. Also picked up his team-leading 15th double in this game as well. Slow roller to short. Maffey's the first out here in the 8th. Luke Ketchum, 0 for 5 in the doubleheader, has reached base a couple of times here today. Was hit by 2 pitches in the first and then again in the 4th. First pitch to Luke. Almost gets him. Stays inside. Luke popped up to the catcher in foul territory his last time up. Did that with runners at second and third and nobody out. Big cut by Ketchum there. Comes up empty. 1-1. Another swing and a miss from Ketchum. 1-2. The 1-2 now from Bianco to Luke Ketchum. A breaking pitch that doesn't break. Stays upstairs. 2-2. Luke stands right on top of the plate. Hits this one high and deep to left field. Hooking foul. He was aiming for that 348 line mark down that left field line, but hooked foul at the last minute. Just a long strike. Stays 1-2. Luke's a grad student out of Springfield, Illinois. A sure-handed defensive center fielder. Also was hitting 350 coming into action here today. 2-2. Getting on base at about a 420 clip here this season. In the dirt, 3-2. Shadows starting to creep in across the infield. I don't think they're affecting anything. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Ketchum fouled the 3-2 pitch off. We will do it again. Payoff pitch from Bianco. Misses away. And Ketchum reaches base for a third time this afternoon. A couple of hit by pitches and a walk. Nate Maliska now. Nate's had himself quite an afternoon. His couple hits, has 3 RBIs, and has played very, very good defensive first base as well. Had a nice pick over at first base. Has started a handful of 3-1 putouts, fielding his position really, really well. First pitch fouled off to the left. Luke stole his 7th base of the year back in the 4th. We'll see if he's running here in the 8th. His team up 5. Throw over to first. So Judson thinks he might be. As I was saying before I got all choked up, the Shadows, I don't think they're really affecting anything just yet. I mean, it crept out far enough across home plate. Popped up to the left side. Long run in for Nelson. Is he going to get there? He will. Benjamin Nelson makes the catch 2 away here in the 8th. And Dan Gusol now. Dan comes out to Careless Whisper. You love to hear that. Gusol 0 for 3. He walked and scored back in the third. He popped out to first his last time up. Jake Bianco looking to finish his second clean inning in a row here. There goes Ketchum. Throw down double clutch and no chance as Luke steals his 8th base of the season, his 2nd base of the game. Runner in scoring position now with 2 outs. Gusol looking to pick him up. Dan has 1 RBI and 1 home run this year. He's looking to drive somebody in other than himself. You can do that if you can pick up a single here. The 1-0. And somehow that pitch did not hit Dan. Curved around him. Diego Munoz had to dive to his left to make the catch. Somehow that just went around big number 25. 2-0 now on Gusol. Down 3-0. Gio Pappas in the on-deck circle. Gio gave one a ride his last time up, right to the wall and left. Just didn't have enough. Misses away, and Dan draws his 2nd walk of the game. 2nd walk of the inning here for Bianco, and that will give Gio Pappas an opportunity. Gio 2 for 4 today. 3 for 7 in the series with a couple of doubles and an RBI. He's swinging a hot bat here in this 2-game series. Hit a frozen rope down the left field line in the 6th inning of game 1. Singled to right in the 2nd inning of game 2. Doubled in the 3rd inning of game 2. And it looks like we're going to have a pitching change here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th inning. We're going to go righty on righty, so we'll give you that information here on the other side. 2 outs, bottom of the 8th. Saints lead 8-3. New pitcher here to face Gio Pappas in the bottom of the 8th is the righty Hayden Singley. Hayden is a senior out of Forreston, Illinois. making his 7th appearance of the season. He's allowed 13 earned runs in 5 1/3 innings, 7 hits. He's walked 8, struck out 6. Opponent's hitting .304 against Singley. He'll face the righty Pappas. Gio looking to continue the hot swinging here in this doubleheader. Big hack from Gio there. Comes up empty, 0-1. As I mentioned, Gio 3 hits in the doubleheader, including a couple of doubles. Has an RBI. He's flown out his last 2 times up. His last time up, he had a fly ball right to the wall and left. The 0-1. Fouled straight back. Runner at second is Luke Ketchum. Runner at first is Dan Gusel. They both reached via walk off of Jake Bianco, who's pitched an inning and 2/3. He's responsible for both runners. He gave up a hit, walked a couple, struck out 1. Oh and 2 now on Pappas. Hard ground ball in the hole, into left field for a base hit. Coming round from third to score is Ketchum, out at second on the throw behind Dan Gusel on the 7-6-4 putout at second. But the run will count as Ketchum did score before Gusel was thrown out at second base. So 1 run comes in. We go to the 9th. Saints lead by 6. We're in the 9th. Judson needs 6 to tie here, or St. Francis will walk away with wins on both ends of the doubleheader, and they'll have to do it against the Saints' best bullpen arm in Sean Mahalik. Sean out there for his 2nd inning of work. He'll face the bottom of the Judson lineup here in the 9th. First pitch swinging as Diego Munoz fouls it straight back, and 0-1. Diego 1 for 2. He's reached base a couple of times. He singled and scored in the 5th. He walked, and he was thrown out at the plate on a controversial play in the 7th. Fly ball down the right field line, twisting foul. Munoz was at third. A ground ball was hit by Chris Marlin. Hector Carrillo fielded it, threw it to the plate, where Dan Gusel tagged out Diego Munoz. He was called out. Judson manager didn't like the call. I think he was saying that Gusel blocked the plate. There's a little bit of tension there between the Judson coaching staff and Gusel. That was broken up relatively quickly. That was the last opportunity for Judson. They had runners at second and third with 1 out, and they weren't able to score. 0-2, fouled straight back. So with a win today, the Saints would move to 12-23, 7-7 in the CCAC. Jacob Jerka in line for his 2nd victory of the season. 1 earned run in 6 1/3 innings of work. But Diego Munoz leads off the 9th with a single to left. He's been on base 3 times out of the number 7 spot here, getting the start in game 2 behind the plate. And this is Alec McLennan, who was pinch run for after he jammed his shoulder into the second base bag his last time up. But he came right back out next half inning in the field. So he's back out there. He's got a couple of hits, single and a double. Double his last time up. Friend is pinch running for Munoz again. First pitch over for a strike from Mahalik. Sean 3-1 on the year, 3.77 earned run average. Fouled straight back, 0-2. McLennan will be followed by Marlin and Benjamin Nelson up at the top of the order. If anybody reaches Giovanni Davila, would get a chance to hit. Oh and 2 now the count on McLennan. Downstairs, McLennan watches it all the way into the mitt of Dan Gusel. The 1-2. Swung on and missed, and that is the first strikeout of the afternoon here in Game 2 for St. Francis pitching, and it comes in the 9th inning. Sean Mahalik, first strikeout of the game for St. Francis. Jacob Jerko went 6 1/3 innings, gave up 6 hits, 3 runs. One of them was earned. Walked one, didn't strike anybody out. Quinn McGuire came in and got out of a very difficult runners at second and third with 1 out jam. He walked one, he didn't give up any hits, and then Sean Mahalik has pitched an inning and a third so far, striking out 1, giving up 1 hit. The 0-1 now to Marlin. Make it 0-2. Marlin is 0 for 3 in this one. He had a sac fly to center in the 5th, driving home at the time Joshua Taylor and making this a 7-3 game, but St. Francis has picked those 2 runs back up to re-give them that 6-run lead. 0-2 nubbed to the third baseman, Carrillo. He has it. Hard throw over to first. It pulls Maliska off the bag. It goes into right field, and over to third it goes Freund. So another fielding mistake here by St. Francis late in this one. This is their 3rd error of the game. Marlin is now at first. Freund is at third, so runners at the corners now with 1 out, and the top of the St. Francis lineup, Benjamin Nelson stepping in. Nelson's 0 for 3 in the game, 0 for 5 in the series. He's been on base a couple of times. Game 1 with a walk, Game 2 with a walk. Comes up here with runners at the corners and 1 out in the 9th. Big swing and a miss, 0-1. 9 runs on 13 hits and 3 errors for St. Francis. 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors for Judson. The 0-1 from Mahalik to Nelson is downstairs for a ball, 1-1. The 1-1 now. Up and away, 2-1. As I mentioned, Sean just doesn't walk very many hitters. He's only walked 5 in 31 innings this season. He is around the plate, doesn't strike a lot of batters out. Pitches to contact. Gets some contact there, and a high fly ball to right field. Pappas makes the catch. In from third is Freund, and it is a 5-run game at 9-4. That is an unearned run. Staying at first is Chris Marlin.
Second baseman, number 14,
Giovanni Davila stepping in. He's 1 for 4. He homered back in the first inning. Pitch in there for a strike. If Davila reaches, Timothy Ellinger gets another chance here in the 9th. It's a 5-run St. Francis lead. 9-4, 2 outs in the 9th. Ground ball to second. McGuire has it. On to first. And the Saints sweep today's doubleheader, Game 2, by the final score of 9-4. 9 runs on 13 hits, no errors for St. Francis. 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors for Judson. The winning pitcher is Jacob Jerka, who was fantastic. 6 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 1 earned run. He walked 1. He struck out nobody. He improves to 2-1 on the season. The losing pitcher is Taylor Abercrombie, 6 runs, all of them earned in 2 1/3 innings. St. Francis moves to 12-23 on the year, but more importantly, 7-7 in CCAC play. So I hope you enjoyed my broadcast today of St. Francis Fighting Saints baseball. I'll be back in a couple of weeks. Until then, have a great rest of your Easter weekend, everybody. Take care.